who once had been a mighty athlete in high school and scored 4 touchdowns in one game and had many offers to junior colleges and could have made something of his life, laid down and died. My game ball. From the greatest day in anyone's lifetime, the day that I scored 4 touchdowns. Yeah, my game ball. Yeah. Who is the man who scored 4 touchdowns in a single game to clinch the city championship in 1966? 4 touchdowns. And I'm not talking the whole year. One game.
Of course, Mr. Bundy. He scored 4 touchdowns. Not in 1 year, but in 1 game.
I played high school football. 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
But I'm just a regular Joe that played high school football, scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game. Last city championship Polk High ever won.
Any man who can score 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Polk High. And while I find you fat and repulsive, I'll gladly regale you with tales of my 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
4 touchdowns in a single game? When I was 18 years old and scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game, I became the greatest football player in the history of Polk High. I scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game on this field. I'm a legend. I scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game at Polk High. All right. Good, sweetheart. First, tell me everything you know about sports.
I know that you scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game for Polk High.
It's okay. He never won a pennant.
Or scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. Hey, John.
4 touchdowns in 1 game, you say?
Ever hear of Al Bundy? Polk High, all city, 4 touchdowns in 1 game. Bills on the football field where I scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. I once scored 4 touchdowns in a single game for Polk High. I presume you're referring to my 4 touchdowns in 1 game?
Me, Al Bundy, Polk High, 4 touchdowns, 1 game.
I scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. I am no wimp. Could a wimp score 4 touchdowns in 1 game?
That's funny. You never told me he had a son.
Daughter?
Nope.
Wife?
Not living.
4 touchdowns in 1 game?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hi, my name is Al. I'm just a regular Joe. Sure, I scored 4 touchdowns in a game once.
I, too, was a young man. Young enough to score 4 touchdowns in a single game. They're dedicating it to the most famous Polk High football legend. A hint, 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
Huh. That's funny, because, see, my father, Al Bundy, he did play for Polk High. In fact, he scored 4 touchdowns in 1 game. It was the highlight of his life.
That's why this scoreboard can only be named after 1 man. Al! 4 touchdowns in a single game, Bundy!
No, Al, you were really amazing tonight. I mean, 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Ah, babe, that's no big deal. I mean, it's not like it's going to be the highlight of my life or anything.